The real purpose of life isn't just to achieve success, but to make it more meaningful by helping others along the way. Madhya Pradesh, often called the heart of India, is not only known for its rich culture, but also for being the land of great thinkers. Jabalpur, a part of this ancient land, is home to influential minds like Osho, Maharishi Yogi, and Shankaracharya. This city is a symbol not just of history, but also of progressive thoughts and philosophy. It is on this great land that another thinker was born, Vivek Tankha. Let's meet the man himself.
I have been fortunate to be born in a very pious family. My grandfather, who was a bureaucrat essentially, he retired as a commissioner in the old Vindhya Pradesh, was a spiritual man. He was a clairvoyant. He used to live in Riva. His juniors would travel in car, and he never had a car. He used to either travel in a rickshaw or cycle, even as a commissioner. He sent my father to Allahabad to study. उन्होंने पूरी एजुकेशन इलाहाबाद में की। पीके पाठशाला उन दोनों में इलाहाबाद की बहुत अच्छा स्कूल होता था। उसके बाद लॉ किया उन्होंने लॉ यूनिवर्सिटी से। And he joined Gopal Sarup Pathak ji as his junior. After that he came to Riva to practice in the 50s. And he was the first man from Vindhya Pradesh to come to Jabalpur.
Vivek's father, Justice Raj Krishna Tankha, was a man known for his kindness and generosity, always ready to lend a helping hand.
I was born in Riva, जहाँ सैनिक स्कूल है. I was 3 months old when my father brought me to Jabalpur in January 57. So I studied in Jabalpur. My schooling was Jabalpur. Little part was in Dehradun, Doon School.
As a child, he has been a very kind, gentle, very focused and hardworking boy. In 74, he organized a Mela of Faith. The students from the campus, university, colleges, his college, all of them gathered. He got all of them. They had the Mela, they had the faith. It was a fundraising thing, and he collected a lot of money. General and Mrs. Raina had come, they were the army chiefs. He had come to Jabalpur. So he took the check and he handed over to them for the Jawans.
Finished my senior Cambridge from Jabalpur, Christ Church Boys School. Did my graduation from St. Aloysius College, Jabalpur. And then came to Delhi, where I did my law. Delhi University was a hub of activity of India.
It's no surprise that Vivek too inherited that same empathy and compassion.
My father had worked very hard in life. He was one of the most respected souls in Jabalpur. He was very kind to even the small staff of the High Court. In court, if there was a poor advocate sitting with him, and he asked him, he says, "Why aren't you wearing a gown?" He says, "I can't afford a gown. I have to earn money to buy a gown." The moment the court was over, he called him to his chamber. He bought a gown for him.
Have you heard about the landmark judgment of Shivkant Shukla versus ADM Jabalpur?
June 1975 was a very important day for India. A constitutionally permissible national emergency was declared by the then government, which led to thousands of leaders from the opposition and other ranks being arrested and detained. Madhya Pradesh was one of the states where these arrests had happened on a very large scale. A spate of petitions were filed before the Madhya Pradesh High Court. And one of the petitions was Shivkant Shukla versus ADM Jabalpur. This petition and the stand of Madhya Pradesh High Court reverberates in India even today.
My father, who was part of the bench which delivered the first dissent against emergency in India. 13 high courts followed him, their judgment rather. He and Justice A.P. Sin. They were the two judges who delivered the judgment. Then it travelled to Supreme Court, a constitutional bench of Supreme Court in which Chief Justice Chandrachud was also a party. they set aside all the 13 judgments which followed the MP High Court judgment. And then the matter came to an end. Of course, emergency also came to an end. 40 years later, while discussing Article 21 in the privacy judgment, now Chief Justice Chandrachud, who I respect a lot, while delivering his judgment in the privacy case, he commented that possibly Supreme Court committed a mistake by setting aside that Shivkan Shukla judgment of Madhya Pradesh High Court, since he felt it was a good law. So 40 years, 45 years back, what my father did has been re-acknowledged after 40 years by the Supreme Court.
But life threw him a curveball. When his father suddenly passed away, Vivek's world was shaken to its core.
While I was studying law, my father passed away.
His father passed away in a very tragic situation. It means we lost him on the day he was to be discharged from the hospital after having recovered from an heart attack. So that was all shocking for us because the house was decorated for receiving him and the body came.
और एकदम इनके ऊपर जैसे बॉम्ब गिर गया तो ही वॉज वेरी अपसेट और बहुत आके घर में बड़बड़ किया करते थे ग्रम्बलिंग कि मैं क्या करूं मैंने कहा भैया हैव फेथ इन गॉड भगवान के ऊपर भरोसा रखो सब ठीक होएगा.
The whole world had shattered before me. I, in fact, for some time thought I should not practice, I should take up a job.
Like any son losing a father, he was devastated. The grief was so overwhelming that he found himself battling depression, even considering leaving law altogether to take up a regular job just to escape the emotional pain.
जैसे मेरे grandfather को ये news मिली, he summoned me to Riva. This is 1980. And he said, Vivek, तुम ये सब क्यों कर रहे हो? तो मैंने कहा, बाबा बहुत difficult times हैं, पापा नहीं हैं, and we had many issues, including financial issues, because बड़ा unsudden death थी. We had a huge house, but liquidity बहुत poor थी. So हम petrol को भी conserve करते थे. So I bought a Luna for myself. I started my practice in a Luna. गाड़ी I used to only keep for going to court and coming back. So it was a difficult time. I wanted to get into a job, secure job. He says, "Nahi, you have to go back and practice. God is with you and your father is with you. I can see a huge career ahead of you. And your rise is not going to be arithmetical, but it will be geometrical." तो मैं हंसने लगा. अरे मैंने कहा, बाबा यार एक केस तो आ नहीं रहा, आप geometrical rise की बात कर रहे हो.
He was just a beginner and he had to struggle a lot, but he is a fighter.
But my grandfather and my seniors, I remember Justice G.P. Singh, a legend judge, a saint judge, Justice J.S. Verma, Justice S.S. Sharma, and so many other legendary people of that time would call me and sort of advise me, Vivek, don't leave this profession. This profession is meant for somebody like you. Just have patience. Keep working hard. And we assure you, you'll rise on your own steam. I can only thank those people that because of them I stayed on. It was a good rise, I can say, a very meteoric rise. But I don't ascribe that to myself. I ascribe that to destiny, to God's wish.
Starting his legal practice wasn't easy. The struggles were real, and the road to success was anything but smooth. But with perseverance and grit, he kept pushing forward.
He joined the profession, he became the member of the bar when he had lost his father. And after that, there was a long period of hard work. And with that hard work, he started rising and he attained a position of one of the best lawyers in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. There was no parallel name to Vivek Tankha. In 1992, there was presidential rule in Madhya Pradesh. The then governor, he had offered him the Advocate Generalship of Madhya Pradesh. Now thereafter, they must have found that he was too young for that post, as in those times with big states like Madhya Pradesh, anybody who was appointed as an Advocate General was 70 plus. So his age was 37 or maybe less. So he was then offered additional ageship, which he politely refused. And later on, when he became the Advocate General, he was one of the best and the youngest Advocate Generals of those times. When he became the Advocate General of Madhya Pradesh, the condition of Advocate General's office was not that good. Now computers were alien at those point of time. So not only he refurbished the entire office, the entire Advocate General office was computerized, and these computers were more than the computers the High Court had them. Every day he used to have like 40 to 45 cases listed in different courts. Most of the big cases were with him. So the joke was that MRTP law should be applied on him because there was a monopoly created by him in field of law that all the cases are landing up in his office. This was taken up by India Today in their Millennium issue. In the Millennium issue, they came up with almost 40 personalities across India, and those were the personalities who would matter in next millennium. So out of 40, 2 were from law. One was Justice Chandrachud and other was Mr. Tankha.
96 May, for the first time, the President of India and Rashtrapati Bhavan, Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma, asked me whether I would be interested in becoming a High Court judge. And he says, I knew your father, he was very illustrious. So I would like to request the Chief Justice of India to put you as a judge to carry the family legacy forward. तो मैंने उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया, सर ऐसा भी मत करिए, I have not made up my mind whether I want to join the bench. फिर 98 में जब Justice Mathur was our Chief Justice, and all the senior judges, they called me to in a small meeting and said, "Okay, you have to carry your family legacy forward. So you must become a judge." So they took my consent in writing. But मैं बहुत uncomfortable था. So after about 2 months, I sent a letter to Chief Justice of India, उस वक्त Justice Anand थे, and to Mathur Sahab, who was our State Chief Justice. And I told them that I don't want to be a judge. I am honored that they asked me.
Amidst this journey, something beautiful happened. Vivek married Aarti, the daughter of Colonel Ajay Mushran.
इस बीच में 85 में मेरी आरती से शादी हुई. We got married. It was an arranged marriage.
I mean, we met when we were kids because he's about 6.5 years older than me. My parents, his mother and my father knew each other before even they were married.
मेरे हस्बैंड ने इनको बहन बनाया था. ये बॉम्बे में पढ़ते थे मेरे हस्बैंड, और ये भी वहीं पढ़ती थी. पर ये अकेली लड़की थी वहाँ, कश्मीरी. अभी भी विवेक मुझको मामी कहता है और आरती अपनी सास को बुआ कहती है.
We never used to meet very often because my father was in the army, but we did whenever we came to Jabalpur because our hometown is Narsinghpur, which is close to Jabalpur. So we used to meet.
Colonel Ajay Mushran, a man with a tall legacy of public service. This partnership gave Vivek both the emotional and professional strength he needed to navigate the tough early years of his career.
मुशरान साहब की भी फैमिली में कोई बेटा नहीं था, और यहाँ I was the elder son. पूरे नर्मदा बेल्ट में उस फैमिली का 40-50 साल का इतिहास था. तो वो एक लेगेसी थी और एक मेरी जुडिशियल लेगेसी थी, और दोनों साथ साथ चल रही थी. सो आई वाज लाइक अ कैरियर ऑफ 2 लेगेसीज, और वो 2 लेगेसीज को मैंने आज तक इन सम फॉर्म ऑफ वे अकम्प्लिश करने की कोशिश की.
In 1970, Vivek's father, who was then the president of Rotary Jabalpur, helped Mother Teresa to set up the service center for her missionaries of charity to help the underprivileged and less fortunate. And coincidentally, in 1996, as president of Rotary, Vivek invited Talat Aziz to perform a show from which all proceeds were donated to refurbish the old age home by Red Cross in Jabalpur.
I started the Tankha Memorial Lectures. Supreme Court के judges आया करते थे. Then I started the schools for special children, 96 में, which was inaugurated by Justice J.S. Verma, who was then Chief Justice of India. The entire judiciary of Madhya Pradesh was there.
School started from very small, 7-8 children coming in a car in the Rotary Hall with just like a rolled up carpet. We used to just spread it out. The children would study, then, go back and be left at their places, to now when we have so many buses. When the first bus came in and, the extension of the building, I used to see that the joy that part gives him, nothing else did. I mean, not winning a big matter or getting like a big case which would pay well. He loved this part. Anytime anything the school did well or he could get something for the school, that would give him a lot of joy.
जब ये स्कूल खुला उसके बाद इसकी जो पॉपुलैरिटी थी वो समाज में बढ़ती गई। छोटा सा स्कूल 10 बच्चों से जो स्टार्ट किया है वो इतना बड़ा रूप ले लेगा। इसकी शाखाएं आज भोपाल में, ग्वालियर में, बिलासपुर में और मंडला में चल रही हैं। हमारे यहाँ करीब 800-900 बच्चे पढ़ते हैं इस क्षेत्र में। 200 से करीब बच्चे जबलपुर के स्कूल से पास होकर अपने पैरों पर खड़े हो चुके हैं। एक बच्चा तरुण कुमार जो स्पेशल ओलंपिक भारत में चयनित हुआ और गत दिनों स्वीडन में इंटरनेशनल टीम में वो दिव्यांग बच्चों की गया था और वहाँ से लास्ट गोल उसने फाइनल मैच में मारा, जिसके कारण इंडिया टीम को गोल्ड मेडल मिला।
The Vice President of India and I both went for the function he had organized in Jabalpur to do with the trust and how they were helping out children with special needs to get education. So I think a sense of social responsibility, commitment to law, and then politics, which is also a field which he has been in, which always remained a little bit of his love. But I don't think that's the be-all and end-all for him. There are many other areas which have engaged his attention and consciously so. So there was a commonality of trying to understand what a person can do in social sector, yet make a name for himself as a lawyer.
I connected with most of this activity and they became part of my heart and soul.
His journey as a lawyer saw him rise through the ranks, earning respect and admiration.
Then I decided to step into a new vista. I had about 25,000 cases. I gave it to my juniors. I said, "Ab tum handle karo."
When I became a chief minister, we were looking for a young, dynamic person to become the Advocate General of Madhya Pradesh. And we zeroed in on Vivek Tankha. So at the young age of 37, 38, he became the youngest Advocate General in the country.
So I gave him 3 wish lists. I said, 1, I would like a free hand to appoint the best people as government lawyers. He says, this I expect from you. He says, what's your second wish list? I said, the office of Advocate General is old, dilapidated, and an embarrassment. I said, I want the most modern office of the Advocate General. He says, this is also granted. And he says, what is your third wish? I said, you'll allow me to resign and go to Delhi after 3 years, because my aim was to shift to Supreme Court. He says, this point we can discuss after 3 years.
And he got along extremely well with the judiciary also. And one of the best things he did was, he brought in a lot of young, talented advocates as a part of his team, which a number of them have become High Court judges, Supreme Court judges also now.
So Supreme Court had come out with very strict orders banning all forest activity in Madhya Pradesh. 1/3 of our economy was forest. More than that, if you had no control on your forest, you had no control on your state. So there was complete anarchy in the state at that period. So Chief Minister was very worried. He had tried his best. He engaged the best counsels. He consulted the law minister. He consulted whoever he thought was best. Ultimately, he handed over the brief to me after 8-9 months. And he says, I have lost hope. If you can do something, try. So I took up the challenge. And then I explained to the then bench, led by Justice B.N. Kirpal, who was very strict on environment matters, that how my government is in trouble and how this government needs to get back into action by Supreme Court removing the interim order. Otherwise, we are collapsing. And I told him that in this meantime, we have worked hard and our forest cover is also increased. I showed him the satellite imageries also. The Chief Justice decided to lift the ban. But he put one condition to me. He says, I'll only do it if you agree. And Mr. Salve had put that condition as amicus, that henceforth, IAS officers will not write the CRs of IFS officers. In India, IAS was the supreme service, and they would write the CRs of IPS and IFS. So I had no choice but to agree. So I agreed to that, and that was a composite order, both removing the ban and directing that henceforth the confidential reports of Forest Service officers will not be written by IAS officers. Oh God, that was such a hue and cry. The IAS Officers Association reached the Chief Minister and he says, how could the Advocate General concede? Because they thought they are losing power. It had a cascading effect because very soon the IPS officers moved an application. And again, the court looked at me. I said, if you've granted for IFS, now grant it for IPS also. So that's how in India, IFS and IPS got out of the jungle of IAS. Sanctuaries, Kanha, Bandhavgarh, Pench. I'm the one who assisted the court to restrict the inflow of tourists because every sanctuary has a carrying capacity. You can't have people in their cars moving around the forest the whole night with torchlights and with those beams. You disturb animals. So we restricted ours. We restricted the traffic. All scientifically done by experts. That is how the sanctuaries got saved. Politics of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh led to division of Madhya Pradesh. And that led to huge disputes. Disputes of division of assets, division of liabilities between the two states. Also allocation of and division of civil servants and other employees, which was a huge task. Lakhs of employees had to be moved to Chhattisgarh, lakhs had to come from Chhattisgarh to MP. It was humongous, बहुत बड़ी exercise थी. How we handled it was another story. But I can tell you, there were times where the court would look at me with frustration and say, Mr. Tankha, 20,000 cases have come against allocation. What do I do? I said, allow the cases. He looked surprised, but I'm asking them, the court ke aap jita do unko. He says, you mean I should allow all the cases? I said, yes, allow all the cases. And give us the opportunity to do it again. Very simple, because in 20 years, I would not have been able to find replies to those 20,000 cases. So cases were allowed in batches of 500 every day. And we finished 20,000 cases. There were huge debts on the state of Madhya Pradesh. We were not able to pay for the coal supplied to our thermal power stations. Western coal fields, northern coal fields, central coal fields stopped supplying coal to us.
Madhya Pradesh board had huge dues to the coal companies. To the point coal companies said, we are not going to supply you coal. Mr. Vivek Tankha, a very clever advocate general, he filed a petition on behalf of the Madhya Pradesh Electricity Board for a mandamus to the coal companies to supply coal.
And we were facing shortage of electricity at that time because the power stations went to Chhattisgarh and the consumption was in Madhya Pradesh. As it is, there were blackouts in Madhya Pradesh and there was huge unrest. Children were up in arms, parents were in up in arms, it was examination time. How can you not have electricity? There were blackouts. So I remember telling the judges at that time, we need to survive to pay another day. If you don't let us live, how do we pay it even tomorrow? While he was arguing, the lights went off in the High Court.
He quite theatrically had the power switched off when the case was being heard.
Harish Salve had felt that this was my ploy, but it was never my ploy, it happened on its own. To prove my point that there's a crisis in the state and that's why High Court has said you will not stop supply of coal to Madhya Pradesh, despite it not paying you the amounts.
Vivek has strived to combine the power of legal expertise with a philanthropic spirit. During the 1999 Orissa supercyclone and the catastrophic Bhuj earthquake in 2001, he rose to the occasion and led the efforts to provide critical aid and support, mobilized resources, rallied the Rotary support, and his initiatives helped in the recovery of the impacted communities.
1999 a super cyclone had hit coastal belt of Odisha. We were anguished by the level of damage that took place. The whole coastal region was flooded, devastated. Lakhs of people were rendered homeless. There was shortage of food grain, material. Lot of help was required. And there was like a national emergency in Odisha. I remember as a governor designate in the Rotary, I issued an appeal from Jabalpur, which was part of our Rotary district, to contribute for the well-being of the Odisha people. And the appeal led to so much of material being sent to us that I had to appeal to the Indian Railways to give me a special train. So a relief special train for Odisha was given to us. I think it had 19 wagons of 17 tons each. I was the Advocate General of the state at that time. I personally supervised the loading of that train after my court work, and that train then left for Odisha, where it was received by the state officials and also the Rotarians of Odisha. And in the state plane, I travelled to Odisha with the Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Bhubaneswar was unmotorable. There was knee-deep water. With a lot of difficulty, we managed to reach the then Chief Minister's house in Odisha, Mr. Giridhar Gumango. And I handed over the check of 50 lakhs with my Rotarian friends and state officials to the then Chief Minister. And this gesture of Madhya Pradesh was highly appreciated by the Rotary world and the country.
मेरे पास फ़ोन कॉल्स आए कि भुज गुजरात में एक बहुत बड़ा भूकंप आया है जिसमें बहुत बड़ी क्षति हुई है और हमने निर्णय लिया कि डॉक्टर धीरावानी के लीडरशिप में वी विल टेक एज मच मटेरियल एज पॉसिबल टू सेट अप अ स्मॉल हॉस्पिटल इन भुज।
हम लोग उसी दिन शाम को 4 बजे पूरी तैयारी करके भूकंप पीड़ितों के लिए टेंट बांधकर कुछ कमरे थे वहाँ हम लोगों ने उस कैंप को करीब करीब 2 महीने तक चलाया। इस बीच में विवेक जी भी वहाँ आए, तो वो जो सेवा हुई वो अतुलनीय थी।
अक्टूबर 2009 में विवेक तनखा सर सबसे पहली बार मंडला आए, अपनी पूरी टीम को लेके, रोटरी टीम को लेके आए हुए थे और मंडला रोटरी के साथ उन्होंने सबसे पहली बार मुलाकात की। सबसे ज़्यादा दिक्कत जो है वो ब्लड की जो कमी होती है बच्चों में, वो एनीमिया, वो बहुत ज़्यादा यहाँ पर है और महिलाओं में भी बहुत ज़्यादा हीमोग्लोबिन की कमी होती है। तो ब्लड बैंक नहीं होने से बहुत सारे मरीज जो है बिना ब्लड के उनकी मौत हो जाती थी असामयिक। तब सर ने रोटरी ब्लड बैंक की स्थापना करवाई।
We set up blood banks in जबलपुर, नरसिंहपुर, छिंदवाड़ा, सब जगह हम लोग ने 1-1 करोड़ रुपए के रोटरी ब्लड बैंक एस्टैब्लिश किए।
Vivek's distinguished career as a lawyer reached a new high as his practice pivoted towards the Supreme Court. His remarkable legacy came to be defined by a series of landmark judicial interventions that shaped our legal and public landscape.
This was in the year 2005. Sir and I and other colleagues were working together, and then there are repeatedly telemarketing calls are coming. And it was not 1, 2, 3, so many times. So sir, instead of focusing on the matter, responding them, no, I'm not interested in all this. And that made him frustrated. Sir guided us on various Indian legislations, overseas legislations, and we filed a petition in this Honorable Supreme Court. A very interesting anecdote which happened in the court when this matter is heard by the court. Sir paused for a second and then he says, the privacy is the most respectable thing in the entire world jurisdiction. It has been very well received, right from the judges to media persons to our colleagues in the profession and a common man. The government has to take immediate actions, and do not call registry was found by the Ministry of Telecom in association with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and other government bodies. That was the foundation for the data protection laws. Unfair trade practices definition was changed over the period of time, and unsolicited telemarketing calls are considered as unfair trade practices. So do not call registries formation also has its founding root in this landmark case of right to privacy through unsolicited telemarketing calls.
In 2006, when my son Varun, who had completed his schooling and was wanting admission in one of the law universities of India, he had to give 6-7 exams in the course of 2-3 days. That means for every university in India, if you are seeking admission, you have to sit for an independent exam. And it was so tiring, frustrating, when you can have a common entrance test for medical, for engineering. Why can't it be for law? So I decided to put a petition. I went to Supreme Court. It was a bench of Justice Balakrishnan and Justice Navlekar.
We heard the matter and notice was issued.
I immediately got in touch with Mr. Sunil Kumar, then Additional Secretary HRD. I also got in touch with late Professor Moolchand Sharma, who was also my teacher in the Law Faculty of Delhi. He was then Vice Chairman of University Grants Commission and the BCI also. And I requested them that this is an opportunity to make a common interest for law.
That the central government, after service of the notice on the government, they have taken the initiative, and as a result thereof the CLAT examination was created. Because of the conduct of the law examination by common entrance test, so many law students have took the benefit of appearing for the different law institutions, and I think the credit goes to senior advocate Vivek Tankha.
Over the years, Vivek's dedication paid off.
I became Additional Solicitor General of India in 2009. And then for 3 years I was Additional Solicitor General of India, when I handled, again, very important matters. In addition, they would give me special matters. I was a counsel for CBI. Shri Krishna report challenge hui, I remember, Andhra Pradesh, I used to go there. जब Reddy brothers का problem चल रही थी, I was specially sent by the Attorney General to argue in Andhra court. I went to Gujarat court when there was gas supply issues. I went to UP court जब मायावती जी से connected बड़े-बड़े matters चल रहे थे. All sent by Government of India as Additional Solicitor General of India.
As Minister, I had an issue with the Election Commission. There were some serious differences with the Election Commission, and this happened at a time when elections were on, and the Election Commission and I were at loggerheads, etc.
The law minister, who was campaigning for his wife in an election in UP, made an objectionable statement. He said they will increase the quota of the minority. We found that yes, indeed, he had violated the model code.
The matter traveled all the way to the President of India. This is the time when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, and of course the President marks it to the Prime Minister. At that point, there was a remarkable thing that Vivek Tankha did, is that I was not even here, I was campaigning, and he took it upon himself to reach out to the Election Commission and explain that the intent and purpose that I had was in no way undermining their authority or their dignity.
And that is when Vivek played a very important role of a peacemaker. He came to us on behalf of the law minister. He helped draft that letter of apology to the Election Commission, and we decided to drop the case. We accepted the apology and moved on.
So what could have been an extremely explosive situation was calmed down and settled I think for the best of everybody. And I must continue to acknowledge that for the rest of my life, his intervention at that very, very peculiar, very particular time.
Mr. Vivek Tankha is basically a solution seeker. His heart is like that. There was a strike of lawyers in the entire Madhya Pradesh. And it went off to such a level that High Court started issuing contempt notices to all the lawyers. And the work was almost at a standstill. Then Mr. Tankha made an appeal and asked all the lawyers to end this and take it to Supreme Court and with the Chief Justice of India. And on his appeal, all the lawyers dropped the strike. Meeting with Chief Justice of India and all senior judges of the Supreme Court was organized, and that's how the matter could be brought down.
Vivek's unwavering dedication to finding solutions goes beyond his professional commitment. He has shown a unique ability to navigate legal challenges, turning obstacles into opportunities.
I was in Sikkim, and this road of Sikkim was horrible.
From Gangtok to Nathula.
And very small also, tiny road. And on the other side of Chinese border, I saw 2-lane, 4-lane roads. So I asked my brother-in-law, General Ajay, who later on became army commander. I said, Ajay, why are our roads so bad and why are their roads so good? He said, Vivek bhai, their roads are good because they have the permission to build roads, and our roads are bad because we don't have permission to touch these roads. Supreme Court has to give permission, and for the last 6 years, the army has not been able to get permission to the Supreme Court. So I came back, I remember I spoke to Ghulam Vahanvati, who was the Attorney General of India. I said, Ghulam, how can this happen? Why can't Indian army get the same permission which the Chinese army has got? Because in a war situation, you have to move your armory, you have to move your tanks, you have to move your trucks. How do you move them fast if you don't have good roads? He says, Vivek, I'm shocked that it's pending for 6 years. It should have happened long ago. I think in 2 weeks' time, the Supreme Court gave the permission. That is how the Sikkim road was built.
In Jabalpur, which is a very important military station in central India, it's an old British time station. There are ordnance factories in Jabalpur, there's a big army base workshop, there's a gun carriage factory. So other than the institutions which are there, which are very important for the defense forces, it's also an important station on the north, south and east-west corridors. The headquarters moving out of Jabalpur would have made an important impact on many of the issues which the defense forces deal with. And those of us who heard about these issues, we were worried that how can this be happening? The Raksha Mantri then was Mr. Arun Jaitley, who I had occasion when Mr. Tankha was telling me that I have spoken to the Raksha Mantri and stressed upon him the importance of this area headquarters remaining in Jabalpur because of all the large role that it is fulfilling. And he says, Mr. Jaitley has promised me that don't worry, it will not move out of Jabalpur. Continuance of this area headquarters at Jabalpur, which is commanded by a Lieutenant General, is because of the intervention Mr. Tankha made with the then Raksha Mantri, Mr. Jaitley, who happened to be a friend of his.
I've had the privilege of being with him, in collaboration with him, defending the persecuted, defending the underprivileged, defending against, in favor of those against whom injustice has been done. I have seen his outreach in the social sector, his empathy for the challenged. He runs institutions to help them. So in other words, he picks up issues which are either legally unconstitutional or per se discriminatory, or issues in which people are persecuted, whether they are women or they are people in public positions, or seek the removal of illegal occupants in public posts. Several of those issues he's brought to me, and we've done them together. So obviously he constantly is thinking about the levels of injustice that are prevalent in society.
Vivek has firmly believed that knowledge is power. It is with this principle that he co-created the MP Foundation to raise awareness on issues important not only to Madhya Pradesh, but also integral to the nation at large.
मध्य प्रदेश फाउंडेशन ने विवेक तनखा की अगुवाई में पहचान बनाई और आज मध्य प्रदेश का डंका बोलता है विवेक तनखा के कारण.
Besides the Colonel Ajay Mushran Memorial Lecture, which was an annual feature on 10th July, we were also holding Kailashnath Kaju Memorial Lectures in Delhi at the same time. In these lectures, we took up very important topics of appointment of judges, separation of power between the judiciary and the executive, and the best minds of India attended these meetings. Somnath Chatterjee ji, as Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Arun Jaitley ji, the top lawyers, Soli Surab ji, Fali Nariman, Ram Jethmalani, and so many others. Apart from sitting judges of the Supreme Court, Madhya Pradesh Foundation was holding the most relevant discussions which the country demanded at that time in those years. In one of our programs of Madhya Pradesh Foundation on indebtedness of farmers and why farmers are dying. If you recollect, that was a major issue in India when thousands of farmers were committing suicide all over India, and especially in Vidarbha region, because of being in debt. And it was worrying the whole country. That was a historic meeting, I remember, in India Habitat Center. And I remember when Sainath ji gave his presentation that day, it was marvelous. With facts and figures, he told Mr. Chitambram and the whole crowd sitting there
what is the pathetic state of farmers in India and why farmers are dying. Many months later, Sainath ji told me that he invited him in the Parliament Annex to address a gathering of MPs and to tell them about the plight of farmers. And I still recollect when the budget of the government was led by Mr. Chitambaram as finance minister in February. That is the time he brought that massive 74,000 crore debt relief for farmers. We are only a catalyst. We provoke a thought process. But that provocation went as far as bringing relief to millions through that Government of India action. And that was the time the concept of CSR had just taken birth. Nobody really knew in what direction it should go. Sachin, as corporate tax minister, speaking about strong intent to bring CSR as a statutory duty, Ahluwalia ji supporting it wholeheartedly as the planning commission. We knew that CSR would come very early now. And it did come. MP Foundation was one of the organizations the Government of India was consulting on the good activities that can be added to the CSR.
आगे बढ़ते हैं खबरों में। दिल्ली के नेहरू मेमोरियल हॉल में मध्य प्रदेश फाउंडेशन ने 5वां सालाना कर्नल मुशरान मेमोरियल लेक्चर का आयोजन किया। इसमें मुकेश अंबानी ने कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी की अहमियत को समझाते हुए कहा,
CSR is often seen as an exercise in charity, an effort to create a system where the more privileged is able to share a certain portion of their wealth with the less privileged. This narrow definition of CSR springs from Western philosophical roots.
It was in 2008 that the Madhya Pradesh Foundation in Habitat Center, Delhi had a grand function in the memory of Colonel Ajay Mushran, where the Army Chief General Deepak Kapoor, Army commanders, the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh and many other illustrious people were present. We took opportunity of the occasion to request the dignitaries that it's time that we had a war memorial in Bhopal to honor the memory of the people who laid down their lives in the state of Madhya Pradesh and also to honor the Indian Army who always are there for the country. We thought it is a good recognition to offer them a defense colony both in Bhopal and in Jabalpur. The government accepted all three demands.
I started my practice in 1991, opened a small hospital, then converted into a 100-bedded multi-specialty hospital, and then came into a teaching institution known as Chirayu Medical College and Hospital at Beragar, close to lakes of Bhopal. In teaching institutions, it became a very big competition for others. So multiple public interest litigations, multiple cases against me were registered in High Court of Madhya Pradesh and Green Tribunal, which had recently started. Mr. Vivek Tankha got me cleared from all the litigations.
आज भोपाल में तकरीबन 15 कॉलेज के साथ वहाँ पे 25 से 30 हज़ार बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं। आज जबलपुर में तकरीबन 12 कॉलेजेस हैं जहाँ पे करीबन 18 से 20 हज़ार बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं। अगर दोनों कॉलेज को मिला लिया जाए तो हम मध्य प्रदेश का सबसे बड़ा एजुकेशनल ग्रुप है, जिसमें विवेक अंकल का हर स्टेप पे, हर मोड पे बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है।
After being abroad for many years, when I was looking to invest in India, Vivek ji, who was the Advocate General of Madhya Pradesh at that time, was instrumental in convincing me to invest in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. Honestly speaking, without Vivek ji's blessings and support, Jabalpur would not have seen Narmada Jackson Hotel.
Vivek is also a founder member of the movement Country First, along with management guru Shiv Khera, and has addressed many conventions with audiences over 30,000 people across the country.
Every program that we did, there were 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people there. And by the way, they were not trucked in, unlike political rallies where people are trucked in. They came in by themselves. Obviously, people were looking for a change, and they were looking for good people to come into the system who are movers and shakers. So we have to understand, go out, educate people, move on, change the country, bring the public opinions, and get good people into the parliament. And that is what I like, that Vivek is there. He's there to fight. This man has been selfless. He has been serving society. It takes a large heart to do it.
भास्कर फैमिली में, हमारी फैमिली में एक छोटा सा डिस्प्यूट, वो डिस्प्यूट को सुलझाने में, सॉर्ट आउट करने में उनका सहयोग रहा। उसके बाद जब वो डिस्प्यूट खत्म हुआ फैमिली में, उसके बाद दैनिक भास्कर बहुत आगे बढ़ा। उसके पहले हमारे 4 एडिशन हुआ करते थे। आज की डेट में 72 एडिशंस हैं इंडिया में दैनिक भास्कर के। तो हम लोग भी आगे बढ़े, वो लोग भी आगे बढ़े।
Vivek respects the heights people have reached in the divine realm. He believes divine interventions have carved experiences in his life, which open doors for him to help others.
हमने श्री कल्की धाम बनाने का संकल्प लिया, लेकिन जब हमने संकल्प लिया तो उसमें बहुत बाधाएं आई। कुछ लोगों ने उस पर ऑब्जेक्शन कर दिया, जिसकी वजह से उसके निर्माण पे रोक लग गई। मैं बड़ा परेशान था। इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट में 7-8 साल धक्के खाने के बाद में विवेक तनखा जी ने मेरा साथ दिया, और विवेक तनखा जी ने मेरा साथ नहीं दिया, भगवान के नाम का धाम बनाने में समर्थन और सहयोग दिया। हाई कोर्ट का फैसला आया, भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पिछली 19 फरवरी को उसका फाउंडिंग स्टोन रखा।
Law is my life. Law is my passion. I always felt that this profession of law is a great enabler. It enables you to do so much for the people of your society.
There are many small incidents like God chooses you to be the medium. When she came and told him that there is this lady has come, and she's been sitting since 2-3 hours. She wants to meet you. So Vivek said, "हाँ ठीक है, उनको बुला." So this mother and daughter walk in, and the daughter must be about, I think, 7-8 years old, if not younger. And she had like a huge tumor at the back, on her neck. And, she was bent like that. And the mother said that, please save my daughter, because this tumor is growing and this needs very advanced surgery. Otherwise, she will be paralyzed for life, because now it started pressing onto her spinal cord. So he said, okay, let me talk to the doctors. In the meantime, there was another matter that he had done for somebody, and which had positive results. So that gentleman was waiting there to meet him. He said, sir, we have a very good hospital in Nagpur. I mean, just look at the timing. It was just that matter of he happened to be there, she happened to be there. And we said that if you permit me, I'll take her with me. He said, don't worry about the cost. We'll take care of everything. Because they were very poor. They didn't even have, the money to travel. So we gave them some traveling money and things like that. And that gentleman took over and all the medical cost. She had 2 surgeries and she was absolutely fine.
ये हमारी बीमारी जो है, तो करीबन उम्र से 12-13 साल के बाद से हमारी शरीर सूखने लगी, और जैसे जैसे उम्र बढ़ती गई और शरीर सूखती गई, उसके आधार पर जब हम लोग पैदल चलते थे तो मुझे इतना आभास नहीं था कि हमको ट्रीटमेंट की आवश्यकता है। माननीय विवेक तनखा जी ने लोगों की, दीन दुखियों की, असहाय जो पीड़ित हैं, उनकी आए दिन मदद करते रहते हैं। मेरे मात्र एक फ़ोन लगाने के पश्चात ही माननीय तनखा जी ने पूर्णतः संज्ञान में ले करके डायरेक्टली जा कर के एम्स के डायरेक्टर से चर्चा किया, और गुलेरिया साहब ने बोला आप बच्चों को भेजिए, बच्चे ठीक हो सकते हैं।
COVID-19 wreaked havoc all over the world, and millions of people lost their lives or livelihood in India too. Here again, Vivek with his team stepped in.
COVID was one issue which didn't leave anybody unimpacted. I remember the first phase of COVID when crores of people were migrating out to their home states. My son Varun and his 20-30 team of young lawyers set up a website. They got in touch with people across India, and they started collecting data and movement details, which they would then send it to me. And then I would send it to different chief secretaries and chief ministers, so that lakhs of people could be moved from different states to either Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and especially Kashmir also. Thousands of people were stranded, and Chhattisgarh was not allowing entry. At that stage, I requested the Honorable Chief Minister on humanitarian grounds to let those people enter Chhattisgarh because they belong to Chhattisgarh. They had come to collect the wards, their children who were studying in Madhya Pradesh. And he, after verification, opened the gates and people could enter. Similarly, I spoke to the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Gehlot Sahab, where about 5,000 Kashmiris were stuck. On my one request, he said within 48 hours, I'll make arrangements for their repatriation to Srinagar. 600 Kashmiri students were stuck in Bhopal, Indore, Gwalior, Jabalpur, right up to Leh. So in that situation, when I requested the state administration of Madhya Pradesh for help, right from the Chief Minister downwards, everybody came forward. They only said, Mr. Tankha, get us an NOC from the Chief Secretary of Kashmir and we will provide the buses. I got the NOC from the Chief Secretary, Mr. Subramaniam, and we managed to send them back. That's just the same story was in Maharashtra, South India, Odisha. COVID did give us an opportunity to serve the people of India. COVID was also a time when Mr. Shekhar Mehta became the president of Rotary International. Shekhar asked me to seek an appointment with the Prime Minister. I sent a mail. We were given an appointment. So Shekhar and his wife Rashi, myself, and Mr. Desai, past district governor of Gujarat. 4 of us walked into Modi ji's office. It was a formal meeting of 10 minutes which went on for nearly an hour, where we told him about how Rotary was working for the COVID-affected people, how Rotary had arranged more than 10,000 plus oxygen concentrators from Srinagar, Jammu to Andaman. My parliament friends were also there in Srinagar when we gave 250 oxygen concentrators in Jammu to the administration. The Delhi government collaborated with Rotary and we helped a lot of hospitals to get oxygen generators. So all in all, we were helping hospitals across India. This was also an opportunity for us to meet Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And with Rahul ji also, Shekhar and I had a long chat about what Rotary is doing, not only in India but world over.
कोरोना में सब जगह ऑक्सीजन की बहुत परेशानी थी, पूरे वर्ल्ड वाइड थी, इंडिया में बहुत थी और जबलपुर में बहुत थी। हम लोगों को किसी भी हालात में ऑक्सीजन चाहिए था। हम लोगों ने माननीय तनखा साहब से आग्रह किया, उन्होंने ऊपर किस लेवल पे किस तरीके से बात की और 2 बड़े ऑक्सीजन के कंटेनर्स जबलपुर आए और विश्वास मानिए उस दिन अगर वो कंटेनर्स नहीं आए होते तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं कि सैकड़ों के संख्या में कुछ घंटों के बाद लोगों की मृत्यु हो सकती थी।
2016 was a milestone year in Vivek's life as he was elected to the upper house of parliament. Besides being the sole elected Kashmiri Pandit in the parliament, he raised issues of monumental importance, including the private member's bill for justice to Kashmiris.
2016 में the Congress quickly put me in the first available opportunity as a member of Rajya Sabha.
I, Vivek Tankha, having been elected as a member of the Council of States, do solemnly affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
As member of Rajya Sabha, I was happy debating in Parliament, again a passion for me. It was a good debut and I was enjoying my Parliament.
I remember I had raised the SMA issue, spinal muscular atrophy issue, many years back. You were the finance minister. I said 2,500 children die every year. The drug costs 21 crores. 16 crores is the cost and 7 crores is the excise. That issue has been largely addressed and I say thank you for that.
Usually members of parliament in Rajya Sabha are not that sort of connected to the masses and grassroots. But he, the entire Jabalpur region and all parts of Madhya Pradesh. So I said, मैंने कहा Vivek भाई अभी आप you're in Rajya Sabha, why are you doing all public meeting and interaction and stuff? So he says, you know, I enjoy it and I'm not here just to enjoy the perks and privileges of being a member of parliament, but I enjoy interacting with people, our workers, listening to them, being there for them. So that was something I thought was very, very non-traditional about a Rajya Sabha member of parliament.
As a parliamentarian, he obviously, because he comes from a legal background, he's very sound and he's very curt, and when he wants to get his point across, but at the same time he does it with humility and softness.
And that's why he cuts across political party lines also, which is a very good and a healthy way of interacting with people, learning, knowing more about them, whether it's in the capacity as a person who represents the legal fraternity and takes up cudgels for the legal fraternity, whether it is fighting for the members of the bar, or whether it is fighting for kids who are unprivileged or specially abled. Very few people take out time from their personal lives to actually contribute to the greater good and the good of society.
As a person, he has devoted a lot of time in finding solutions to the complex problems in Kashmir, especially for the community who became victim of ethnic cleansing. He has contributed immensely to the thought exchanges in global Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, which is a civil society of Kashmiri Pandits all around the globe.
जब कभी भी कश्मीर में कोई आपदा आती है, कोई घटना होती है, सबसे पहले हम लोग ही कश्मीर पहुंचते हैं। जिस दिन उर्री में अर्थक्वेक आया था, मैं स्वयं रोटरी क्लब के डेलीगेशन के साथ लाखों रुपए की सामग्री लेके गया था।
Well, Vivek is actually a direct contemporary of mine. He's actually 6 months younger than me, but he's somebody who has been a visible figure in Indian public life around the same time as my involvement in politics. He was I think the youngest, if I'm not mistaken, Advocate General of Madhya Pradesh. He was a very successful lawyer, highly respected. He became the first Madhya Pradesh lawyer to be Additional Solicitor General of India. So he had that kind of track record. But there are two Vivek Tankhas. The lawyer is one side of him, but at the same time, Vivek is a humanitarian. And that, I think, is the most remarkable set of achievements, because this is a man who didn't need to do all that he did. And he's been out there when it comes to cyclone relief, he was out there. When it comes to earthquake relief, he was out there. When it comes to health camps, medical camps, particularly in the tribal areas and the poorer belts of Madhya Pradesh, he went and helped. I mean, I'm very modest way. I try and do some humanitarian work myself. But what Vivek has done is at a level, a scale, and I must say, a set of accomplishments that's truly remarkable. Well, I think the thing about Vivek is he has no airs. He's somebody who's very accessible and all sorts of people. I mean, a Renaissance man ought to be something more than just brilliant in himself. He has to be somebody who also gives of himself to society. And Vivek is doing that. I must say he's a terrific asset to our public life.
He got deeply involved in social causes through Rotary and initiatives like Rahat, helping those in need, and continuing his family's tradition of serving others.
मेरे life में one of the most satisfying moments has been a program called Rahat. Rahat is an acronym for Rotary's Active Hands Are Touching. We started the first medical mission, it was 2008 or 2010, and that was in Mandla. And 50,000 patients turned up, 55,000. We did 5,000 surgeries and procedure. We had nearly 250 to 300 doctors, and it was for a week. And it's all free. Medicines were free. Either the government was providing those medicines, or we were contributing to those medicines, or the society was contributing to those medicines. A lot of medicines were sent by Rotary International, our international partners from US. I would also request the district collectors during Rahat programs कि जितने blind बच्चे हैं, collect them and bring them to our camp. And the Shroff team from Delhi would examine those blind children and to find out really if their blindness can be cured. Then we would list out some children, 5, 10, 15, depending on medical examination, जिसमें possibility दिखती है. They would come to Delhi. In Delhi, even people like President Abdul Kalam were helping me to deal with these blind children.
When President Abdul Kalam learned that Vivek is helping visually impaired children from the tribal areas of Madhya Pradesh for restoration of their vision, the President requested the top eye surgeons of the country to help his mission Drishti.
Some of the surgeries are very, very delicate surgeries. So people like Dr. Muscati, very big eye surgeon of Bombay, also a Rotarian. People like him would fly to Delhi, not once but twice, thrice, to operate on these children. And the operation would take place in Shroff Eye Hospital. Children would get their eyesight back. Otherwise termed as blind, they were to lead a life of a blind in their villages, in the hills, in the forest areas. They could have never imagined that somebody would carry them to Delhi and the best doctors of India would examine them. Easier surgeries we do there. We take over all the hospitals with cooperation of all the local hospitals. And the best of doctors are positioned there to do these surgeries. जो serious surgeries होती है, उनको फिर we list them out and then we take them to bigger hospitals later. Jabalpur, Bhopal, because all medical colleges also join us. All private hospitals of Madhya Pradesh, they all join us.
Our association goes back many years, and many times I actually have gone myself to these camps, which is like you see people from the rural area coming for free treatment, also getting their operations done. So it's an amazing sort of heart, you can say, a human person who will do all this and care all the time.
आज इंडिया में every Rotarian knows what is Rahat. Governments know what is Rahat. इसमें AIMS becomes a partner, Gangaram is a partner, Vedanta, Dr. Trihan is a big partner, Shoroff sends its team of doctors. Similarly, we have Jaslok, Bombay Hospital, Ambani Hospital. Every hospital इस यज्ञ में आहुति देता है.
मंडला में 2019 नवंबर में किया था, उसमें 1 लाख के ऊपर मरीज आए थे और कितने हज़ार सर्जरीज हुई, वहाँ हुई, बड़े बड़े अस्पतालों में हुई, मेडिकल कॉलेज में हुई, जबलपुर हॉस्पिटल में हुई, चिरायू भोपाल में हुई, अरविंदो इंदौर में हुई, तमाम मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में भी हुई. मतलब यू कांट इमेजिन, इट्स अ सी ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी बीइंग सर्व्ड बाय द मोस्ट कॉम्पिटेंट हैंड्स ऑफ द स्टेट. और उसमें जिस तरह से लोग सेवा भाव से वहाँ लगे थे और जिस प्रकार से खाना लोग बांट रहे थे, दवाइयाँ बांट रहे थे, they were looking after those patients. You can only believe it when you see it. जिन लोगों ने राहत देखा है, उन्होंने समझा है कि this is the best type of public-private partnership that you can have in this country for the poor and the depressed.
Let us meet those who are close to him.
Being the third generation lawyer in the family, although let me tell you, this was my choice to be a lawyer. It was never forced upon me. As they say, khoon mein hai. It's in the blood. And I think law was my calling, and I took it up. One thing I actually learned from him is courtcraft. Read the room. Know what the judge is expecting out of you. Just take up anything and everything for anybody, because you are at the end of the day helping a person. And if eventually you can't, and why are you in this profession? If you're not able to do what justice to your profession, then don't be in this profession.
As a parent too, I would say he's managed the polarity of being a parent really well. To be able to kind of really protect a daughter like a princess, but at the same time, you have to let her kind of go out and explore the world on her own so that she can be strong, she can be independent, she can be financially independent. And that's exactly what I did. So he let me take the plunge sort of carefully. I feel he was always there for us as a rock.
When my father passed away in 2004, I think Vivek Bhai just took on the role of the family elder, and he became the banyan tree under which I think all of us are very secure and comfortable.
Vivek Mamu has always been an inspiration right from the start. When I understood that, one needs to think about a profession and I need to know what I like to do and my interest, and that's when I discovered that it's law, because I used to see him, how he was as a lawyer helping out to others, and he was in a position to help out to others, how he was connecting his social work, and so many a times he would let go of his fees and he would say that instead of giving me fees, help out there.
This is a very empowering profession. It's a very enabling profession. This profession enables you to do a lot of good work. If you are sincere and hardworking, it connects you with lots of people. And this is the connection I used all my life for social good. So I used the power of my profession, the power of my connection, which came through the profession, for all the social good. My journey in law and politics and my journey of social work somewhere got intermixed. I was using one to bolster the other. So all I can say is that life is complex. Life is challenging, but you should know how to navigate. If you're a good navigator, you can cross the deepest of turbulence in the biggest of oceans.
I think a man who wears many hats but has a golden heart.
The forgive and forget attitude is amazing.
He's a very straight, clean person.
He's an angel on the earth.
The man for all seasons.
A Renaissance man.
That is Vivek Tankha for you.